How we doing, guys? Welcome back to 62 Beer Reviews. Another little something different today. Today is December 30th. At least that is when this is going to be coming out. And I decided to do a little something different because we just had such an awesome year in beer. Met some great people. Had some great beer. Went to some awesome tap rooms, some bucket list tap rooms of mine. And I was like, you know what? We had some pretty awesome beer this year. So we're going to check out the top 10 beers we had this year. But before we do that, I just want to thank anyone who has subscribed to the channel, has interacted, commented, liked, viewed, anything and everything. I appreciate all of you. While I don't do this channel for the subscriptions, I do it more for the interactions and everything. While I don't do it for that, I do appreciate it, and it means a lot to me that some people out there enjoy my content enough to subscribe. So just once again, I thank all of you, and we're going to keep on keeping on into the new year, checking out more beer. I got a few other things I want to do, checking out some other styles. I got more styles that I want to get into in the new year, and just some other stuff. So once again, thank you, and without further ado, we're just going to dive in to top 10 beers we had this year. By the way, this one we're having right now, this is going to come out tomorrow. So New Year's Eve, you'll see this review. Nice little barrel aged imperial stout from a local brewery here in Nashville. Really, really enjoyed it. So spoiler alert there, but yeah, let's just dive in. So I got this idea. I think halfway through the year, I was like, man, we're having some really, really awesome beers this year. What if we did top 10 beers? And so I started holding on to beers that I really, really enjoyed. This first one in the top 10, I didn't keep the can, but it was a beer that my wife and I went on our honeymoon to Hilton Head down in South Carolina and went to the store to pick up some beer, and I wasn't expecting to see it there, as is a beer from New England, from Maine, and it's been a beer that's always been on my bucket list to check out, and man, did it exceed my expectations! It was awesome. That beer was Allagash White. Not a style that I have too often, but dude, that beer just blew me away, and it's a perfect summer crusher. I mean, everything about it really got me into wit beers, or vit beers, however you pronounce it. Because later on in the year, I started seeking out more. Southern Grist actually put out one that was almost just as good. Um, I loved everything about it as a crusher. And if you know me, you know that I love lower ABV beers, and that's what really impresses me is when you can do a lower ABV beer and just execute it so well. And Allagash White is that. So that is number 10 on the list. The rest of these we did keep a can of, but we'll dive into number 9, which is another classic. And that is King Julius from Treehouse Brewing Company. I know I'm a little late to the party, but this was the first time I ever had King Julius, and it it blew me away. You know, just being so different than any other hazy I've had before. 8.2% American double IPA. You know, it's just one of those beers that's been on my bucket list to have. It is everything. It's just straight citrus orange juice mixed with vanilla ice cream and mango. It. I think what blew me away about it is just how pillowy soft it is, and while being a double IPA. That's what I loved about it, because so many double IPAs out there are just a little too sugary, a little too like almost burnt sugary to me, and this was not that at all. It blew me away. Came courtesy of Raul. Thank you again for sending. He sent a big old box of Treehouse to me, and I got to check out some awesome beers. But this one definitely stuck out to me. It was just so different than all the other Treehouse beers I had. So yeah, that is number 9. We'll dive into number 8, which was, I think, my brewery of the year. That is Barrique. I mentioned it before. If you guys watch the channel, one of my favorite breweries. I just love just about everything they put out. This one was actually, uh, you will not see this review yet. Probably going to come out in January. Um, but I did have it in 2024, so I had to put it on the list. I absolutely love this beer. Their lagers are just insane. This was a New Zealand Pilsner, clocking in at 5%, brewed with Fireman Bark Pilsner malt, hopped with Motueka, Rawaka, and Nelson Sauvin. I'm a huge Nelson fan, and I love that so many people are loving New Zealand hops lately. This beer it reminded me of a West Coast Pilsner, just a little less bitter. A little more of that like new school West Coast Pilsner, I guess. Um, but all New Zealand hops, which I guess is why they call it a New Zealand Pilsner. It just blew me away. Another lower ABV beer that just blew me away. 5%. It was so aromatic. I loved. It got better as it warmed up. I feel like in my review you'll see, which to be honest with you, I'm a laid back guy, so I'm not going fucking crazy over beers. But I will tell you, like this is one of those beers I continually sipped on, and I was like, man, this is delicious. So yeah, Motueka River from Barrique at number 8. Next on, got another Nashville brewery. I love that. We got a lot of Nashville stuff on here in the top 10. This was a collab actually between Southern Grist and Tripping Animals. We reviewed probably a month ago. This was a double IPA. This was Insert Juicy Everhaze, a play on Insert Juicy Pun, which is a double IPA from Southern Grist featuring Citra Galaxy and Mosaic, I believe. And they took those 3 hops and added Amarillo, which is a hop used in Everhaze from Tripping Animals. This beer was delicious. Amarillo, another one of my favorite hops right now. So much grapefruit in this beer, and it was just so well executed. One of the better double IPAs I had this year. So that is, what are we on? Shoot, number 7. I feel like I keep screwing the numbers up. Number 7, right? Yes. We're going back to Barrique. This one blew me away as well. This was, and I hope I pronounce this right, Grobes Fass, a Schwarzbach from them. This was a whiskey barrel aged Schwarzbach, clocking in at 8%. Production time of 28 weeks. So I'm sure they lagered it for a while in whiskey barrels. It says box strength black lager brewed with Pilsner, Munich, and chocolate malts, lagered in whiskey barrels previously holding Madeira wine and orange curacao. It was just so complex. One of the more complex beers I had this year. In the wintertime, I absolutely love darker beers. And if you can make a bigger box strength lager like this, that's just so complex, I mean, it blew me away. Just that orange curacao came through, but you get the roasty chocolate notes. And it did not drink like its ABV at all. I had this on tap actually at the tap room, and they didn't have the ABV next to it, and they served it in half-liter steins. I had no idea, and it fucked me up, 8% lager, because it did not drink like 8%. So that beer was wild. Another lager from Barrique. I'm telling you guys, if you have not had any Barrique stuff, they're up there with Schilling for me when it comes to their lagers. Just top of the game. So number 10. That was number 6. All right. We're getting into the top 5. Maybe I should have spread these out because I feel like, you guys are going to turn it off. All right. This dude's just fucking crazy about Barrique. Yeah, because we're going back to Barrique. But I'm telling you, man, this beer, I'm a big Christmas ale fan, and this beer blew me away. Another beer that blew me away. That is Yuletide Ale from Barrique. What else can I say? Barrique just has been blowing me away this year. Top brewer of the year for sure. This was, they don't have it on here, but the amount of adjuncts and spices that went into this were insane. For a 6% holiday porter, it blew me away. And I think I mentioned, yeah, it could be a little more full bodied, but I mean, it's 6%. It exactly what I wanted out of a 6% porter. It literally tasted like a gingerbread cookie. There were, yeah, just a shit ton of mulling spices in here, and the perfect beer for Christmas, in my opinion. I think I saw some people saying this beer was kind of reminded them of Anchor's Christmas Ale. Um, I only had that beer one time before, so I wasn't too familiar with it. I know a lot of people love that beer and love Anchor, and I hate to see that they're not really around anymore. So I wish if I see like a vintage bottle, I'll try to pick one up and review that. But if you are still seeking out some Anchor Christmas Ale, check this one out. It was freaking awesome. So number 4. All right, we're switching it up. Okay, no more Barrique. I don't think, at least. Going to Knoxville. This was a beer I actually didn't review on my channel. I actually reviewed, shout out to Joe from the Beer Patrol. We reviewed this beer together on his channel. I had a few cans, and it was around the time I was planning on sending him up some beer. And I was like, dude, I got to send him one of these because this beer just hazy that blew me away. Favorite hazy of the year by far. This was Heavy Rhymes, a play on Rhymes Like Dimes, their award-winning IPA featuring Galaxy, Nelson, and Citra. The, just so creamy, pillowy, and like I mentioned before, I'm a huge Nelson fan. Really came through in this beer. Didn't drink like 8.4% at all. I think it's the first time they brewed this one too. They've brewed Rhymes Like Dimes plenty of times before, and it just blew me away. And I remember Joe really liking it too. So, yeah. So, by the way, all these reviews I will put in the link below in the description if you did not get a chance to watch. I'll even put a link to Joe and I's review of this one. Yeah, Zool, probably the most hyped brewery in Tennessee right now. They're putting out awesome stuff. People go crazy for their sours. We actually got to review PB&J mixtape this year. That came courtesy of Armando. Thank you so much again for saving me one of those. That was fun to check out. Yeah, Rhymes Like Dimes, or Heavy Rhymes, I should say. Best hazy I had this year. So take a little drink break here. And we will get into top 3. All right, we're going to get out of the state here. That's crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of my top 10 beers were local. That's awesome, man. I fucking love that. So, really cool. We are going up to Ohio. I was up. My sister goes to Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. Well, if you are a beer nerd like I am, and you know about Athens, you know Jackie O's is there. And dude, I think we got there for their anniversary week, and they released Oil of Aphrodite Extra Reserve 2024 edition. This was a imperial stout brewed with walnuts, Belgian candy syrup, aged in bourbon barrels, and conditioned on walnuts and maple syrup. I mean, this best stout I had this year. It blew me away. Had this early on in the year. I think February and March we reviewed it. I mean, dude, Jackie O's. That's all I gotta say. It's Jackie O's. I mean, it blew me away, man. This beer was unreal. I remember the bourbon coming through great. Such a complex stout. And I picked up a barley wine from them too. I was expecting to like that more. This one just blew me away. I mean, the bourbon mixing with the chocolate, fudge, the walnuts kind of even everything out. Some stuff I do forget about it, but I do remember. I was like, dude, this is the best stout I've had this year. So, Jackie O's. If you guys haven't had any Jackie O's, and you're a big stout fan, you're missing out. So get your butts to Athens. That's all I'm going to say. Next up, we are going out to California, Orange, California, to be specific. This beer came from Joe, courtesy of Joe, from, you may know him from Jow's Arcade and Beer Reviews. He sent me a big old box of Green Cheek beer, and this beer was phenomenal. Happily Deceased, part of their West Coast IPA is Dead series. This beer blew me away. It was, let's see, what are the hops in here? Mosaic and Nelson. I mean, dude, it was unreal. I think it was like 7%, something like that. 7.2%. It was so light and crushable. I could have chugged the whole thing. The Nelson came through just perfect. One of those beers I just sat and I just talked to myself about, and I just didn't want it to go away. So, Joe, thank you so much for sending this one. It was delicious, and yeah, I see all the hype about Green Cheek now. So, yeah, California IPA from Green Cheek. That beer was number 2. And number 1, we're going up to Vermont. One of those breweries that has been on my bucket list for a while, and my wife, mother-in-law, and I went there over the summer, and this beer, best beer of the year. So I say, did I say that these aren't in any certain order? I'll definitely say the top 5 were my top 5, like in order, my top 5. But Double Sunshine from Lawson's Finest Liquids. Sneak around here. Dude, if you guys haven't had this beer, I mean, it's been around a while. Another beer I know I'm late to the game on, but man, I've had Sip of Sunshine before, and I will tell you, I think I mentioned in the review, this beer, Sip of Sunshine doesn't compare. It is so much, it just hands down one of the best West Coast IPAs I've had. So much grapefruit. I love grapefruit in beers. They actually do a grapefruit variant of Double Sunshine, and I would love to have that beer because you already get so much grapefruit in that beer. It's unreal. The bitterness, I love bitter beers. This beer is perfect amount of bitterness. It's just an unreal classic from Lawson's, man. Some of their other beers I could give like honorable mentions too, as well. Like Kingdom Trails, that West Coast IPA was awesome. At the brewery, I had Triple Sunshine aged in tequila barrels. That beer was unreal. Lawson's is brewing some awesome stuff. One of those beers you can only get at the brewery, I believe. So I'm definitely going to have to make it back up to Waitsfield and check out some more Double Sunshine. But that is it. That is the top 10 beers that I had in 2024. Like I said, I kind of thought of this halfway through the year, so maybe it would have been a little different. But next year, going into 2025, we will definitely think more. And, we'll see what our top 10 beers are next year. But awesome beers. Thank you, anyone who sent me these. Thank you, everyone who watches my reviews again, who subscribed. I appreciate it. And I will catch you guys in 2025. Happy New Year.